How's tour?
Yeah. London was cool. You know, it's makes you appreciate the sun back home.
It's been shitty there.
I mean, it's just their typical weather. You know, it's just kind of gray. It's not bad, but it's just it's different. But
I
when the
asked you
sun
this.
comes,
What were you gonna say?
no, I was gonna say when the sun comes out, you're like, oh, thank God. You're
Oh
like
yeah,
you're
yeah,
really,
yeah.
But anyway, you're gonna say,
I asked you this via text, but like you do have like American history stuff in your set. Do people get it there?
um,
They know who
yeah, yeah.
made
So yeah, I think like there's definitely a tongue in cheek way that I like kind of bring it up. Um, I think the toughest one was like some of the Scandinavian shows, like Finland, um, or like Helsinki, Oslo, and Sweden. I actually had a guy message me after one of the shows. He was like, "Yo, man, great show, but I don't really get one of the bits." And so I actually like
this.
I
That's
took the time and I explained it to him,
that's a
and
hilarious thing to message a comedian after.
yeah, yeah,
Was, hey, can you help me understand this part of your show?
yeah, yeah, and I was it felt genuine, so I just I bit, and
Send him a
I just like
Wikipedia
took
link. American
yeah,
history.
yeah, I just took the time to like explain it, and he then like he got it. He's like, oh, he's like, fuck, man, me and my girlfriend felt so stupid because everyone was like laughing around us, and we were just kind of lost. And I said, nah, the bit is massively American, so like it's kind of asking a lot from you, like all the way in fucking Sweden to piece some of it together. I like I know like he got it, but I think when I gave him the full context, it was like it clicked, and he's like, "Oh, okay, right, right, right." I'll tell you, the most nervous I was fucking Ireland.
Why?
Irish motherfuckers are funny, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're all funny. Every person I encountered in Dublin just had like a witty, you know. It starts here. I didn't talk about this, right?
No.
No. Okay, so I get to my hotel in Dublin, and our bellman, older gentleman, nice guy, like kind of like just big old smile. So we come downstairs and we're about to go out for dinner, and I said, hey man, was Irish humor like? And he's like, Irish humor? I'll tell you about Irish humor. And he does like a joke, like just back pocket does a bit. I'm like, oh, man, that's funny. I'm like, all right, cool.
What was the
So
joke?
I'm like, I don't remember, but here's why.
Okay.
So then I'm like, all right, seems like maybe it's like there's a dark appetite. Uh, I'm like, do people care if you joke about the church and shit? Because I've heard about different things about whatever. And he's like, oh sure, you can. He's like, you could joke about the church. Then he does like, I'm not exaggerating. He does 3 jokes about like God and Jesus and someone else, like just offhand. I'm like,
Is this
okay.
you think it's his own shit?
No, no, no. Like there are definitely little like
He's so
one
funny if
liners.
he was like, I got a tight five actually about the church.
Yeah, well, dude, that's how it felt. I felt like I could. Well, so here's the thing. So that was like my first taste, right? So then we go out for dinner, or whatever. The next day, I'm still like a little bit nervous because I'm like, man, it just feels like everyone here kind of has like a confidence about them, uh, to like just they're confident people. So then we go eat breakfast, and I sit down, and the table's kind of off kilter, so I put my hands down on the table, and it like wobbles, and then there's like 2 bottles of like sauce, and they fall over. And then the guy working there, without skipping a fucking beat, he's like, "Geez, take out the door as well with you." Like some like he said, I think he said, "Geez, why don't you take the door out with you as well?" Like you know, and it was just like it was so unexpected and super funny, and the way it like came across is like it was like he knew me as a person,
Yeah, yeah.
and so I laughed, and then that in the venue, I was like meeting the venue staff, and the sound guys are they kind of like they're just kind of funny, and then even one of the guys, like one of the promoters, I walk in the room and he goes to shake my hand, and I was like eating, so I like closed my fist, and I was like, my hands are disgusting, man, like let me do that. And he goes, yeah, that's what I thought when I saw you. I said, that is a man with disgusting hands.
Yeah.
And then, So then it's just all kind of getting in my head like, fuck.
You're like, fuck, everyone here is a comedian.
Yeah, yeah. And then one of the sound guys told me that it's a bit, they're kind of like a stereotype about Irish people where um they'll go watch a show and they'll be like, ah, the fucking show sucked, but we were good. You know, he's like, we all think we're funny and we all think like we're better than the person performing. So um I like went in there and I was just like, okay, I gotta fucking hunker down and I'm like fully prepared for like a drunk ass crowd. You know, the longer the show goes, the funnier than me they're gonna think they are. And it it ended up, you know, it ended up being like a really great show, you know. Like I think definitely like one of the best just because like just crazy energy and stuff. But um
Did they heckle you?
they did with like in a positive way, like at points. They were like definitely like being part of the show and like having fun with it. So I, you know, it was good. Um and then I like I felt like all my fears were valid because someone messaged me after the show and they said, I fair play to you coming all the way to Ireland and getting Dubliners to laugh. I was like, oh fuck, okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, the whole thing
But
was
I
like,
didn't understand that one part of your
oh
set.
dude, I didn't even fuck around with like mocking them like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, I'm like, you know, it when it's like us two up there, it's fine because like we can be like, you know, back to the wall, the two of us, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
pointing like the humor pistols at the room and like it can be like a fun thing. But when I'm standing out there on my own, I'm like, hey, let me chill out.
Yeah,
And then we have to make our way to um where the fuck are we going? We're going to Birmingham. No,
Burning
we're
Man?
going to yeah, Burning Man. Birmingham. No, we're going to Sheffield. On the way to Sheffield. And on the way, I get a little message from the casino god himself. You
Siva?
know, Siva. He sends me a text. He goes, "Hey man, you should stop over at Warhammer World in Nottingham."
No
I'm
way.
like the fuck is Warhammer World? You know, and he's like, "Ah man, it's this like mega store, this and that. They got exhibitions there." And I'm thinking, all right. So we map it out, and sure enough, Warhammer World is just but a slight detour. So we pop into Warhammer World. Shout out to this guy Kieran, really nice guy. Recognize when we walk in, and he's like, "Hey man, you want to check out the exhibitions?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So we go through 5 rooms of like massively, just cool Warhammer shit. You know, they got the first Space Marine up in a cabinet. You know, they got some of the original figurines from like the 80s. And, you know, I know people in the sort of like games workshop world got mixed feelings about Warhammer and the cost and whatever. But you put all that shit aside, man, some of the most elaborate, just dope exhibitions there. You're talking like scenes that are constructed that are like 3 layers deep from
Oh
every
my
direction.
god.
You look around the glass, you know, yeah, they got like fucking minimum like 300 pieces per thing. You know, they had one table at the end that was probably like 10 by 15 feet and a staircase wrapped around it. It's that one right there. It's that same room. Um, but I believe the one I was looking at was different.
Was this
And
is this official
yeah,
Warhammer
yeah, yeah,
place?
yeah, yeah. It's
Why
like the
sh-
Games
why
Workshop. It's not in Sheffield. It's in Nottingham.
why there?
Maybe it originated there. Maybe that's like their HQ. Yo, click the one with the purple. I think that might be a recent picture. Um,
Oh my god.
this isn't even. This is not even the finished. This I think is what I saw. I don't know. Maybe it's just a picture, but like what I saw had much more detail in terms of the paint and stuff. Um, I took a bunch of videos. I can't even send them here, but uh, you know, I had one like little sketchy moment where I pulled out my phone and I put it like landscape and I started like filming in cinematic mode and like panning like over the that purple image right there. I started panning over the characters and shit. and I had this intrusive thought afterward, like, damn, what if I just dropped the phone and I just hit like 15 figures? You know, I shook that feeling off so quickly. Yeah, can you imagine? I just pull up and just like a dumbass dude, just like imagine if we got invited to some like installation and we dropped one of the props.
But
Imagine
we
if
can
that
talk
happened.
about that now, dude. We've
You
been
think?
yes, dude. The money with that they're not getting that money back.
All right. So yeah, when Cody and I went to San Diego to promote the new Game of Thrones and we dropped one of the fucking dragon eggs.
Oh, we should play the video now. We have the fucking video.
Dude, we
It's
need to ask if
so
we could do that.
funny.
I
Who are
shouldn't
we
say
gonna ask?
uh
Bose?
let's no, Mazad. We should just check in to see how she feels about it.
It's funny though because okay,
Yeah,
we can get into that after maybe.
yeah, we can talk
After you're
about the
done with
bonus.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, the bonus. Yeah, hey, you're gonna give Cody flashbacks. Hide that thing.
But yeah, I know what you're saying. Like you
Yeah, so
phone or you trip into the exhibit.
yeah. So you know, this thing is genius because then I come out of
Later.
there. Yeah, yeah, bro. Dude, I was picturing just tripping and just knocking over 100 pieces with my elbow. Like, oops.
Dumbass American.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Oops.
guys.
I was filming it and then yeah, so
Can I write you guys a check for this? And we're all square. Sorry about that, guys. I know you like your
yeah, dude.
figurines.
Yeah, sorry, you know, what's the cost of production on these things? Like 3 cents per?